plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac divided by 2a. Alright, back it up, right? Negative b like me because I'd be negative and non-existent without b. Plus or minus the square root of b squared like b squared and arc between the something that moves so soon to be separated to be always like the exponent. Any opponent is ambushed by twins that b strong and b scared, so that's what we're just like the b squared minus 4ac set. We're more like plus 4b because we travel 4 corners worth of sacrifice itself a unity, a community of 2 who cover 4 bases like 4 aces. We beat the flush and the straight by being bent and directly. You are trying to divide us by 2a. 2 ways in 2 days when we remain the true to WC is a possible X outcome of us never knowing each other, brothers. Join our division into 2 parts of 2 ways. So you try to start something in 2 ways.
Care for us. We need opportunity and people to be there for us. We need you guys to be there for us.
See, in my head it's like a rhythm. For the past 300 years, some people have fought for so much, but accomplish little, they didn't belittle us. That's why through poverty, the one at us, all they ready to build pieces because they count on us to break the law. They hope we fall. We better start fighting for goodness sake. If we don't, they gon' push the age to go to prison down to 8. They always hate. Can you see it benefits them, but we don't succeed? Better pay more money to prison costs instead of good teachers that can reach. What's it gonna take to do more than survive? I'm telling y'all, we fighting for our lives. What's it gonna take to do more than survive? I'm telling y'all, we fighting for our lives. What's it gonna take?
What Youth Together is a multiracial group of students that work to prevent racial and non-racial violence at our schools through the principles of promoting unity, peace, respect, and justice.
Like Youth Together is like one big group from around the Bay Area, and like how we all like work at our schools, because we have common, things that we got to go through and that we got to fix that, but it's unique at each school. So we work, independently, but we work together because you're together.
What it comes down to is that young people started this, young people are still involved, and young people will continue to be involved.
We got to understand that the youth want to be part of the process of making change, and that one thing is to vote, for this idea that somebody puts out for you, but there's another thing that's more powerful, and that's actually going through the process of creating those change by yourself with, guidance and whatever. We got to make solutions for our problems and the problems at our schools, in our society.
The youth are becoming not adult enough to vote, but definitely not children enough to be protected from death row. But from death row, we are becoming. We remove guns from the hands of police that would shoot a man 41 times while he reached to his pocket to show proper ID. We are Amadou's last breath. We are the wind. We are becoming responsible. We remove death from the hands of men that would bang a 12-year-old, throw his father out the window, then raise his hands in celebration or prayer.
We have some good students there, and I'm not trying to put myself out there, but I am a good student. For me to not have a math teacher for 2 whole years, for me to have to sit in class for 2 years and not learn anything about math. I have good grades, yes, but for me to not learn anything about math and want to go to college, which I am, that hurts. For us not to have a teacher, that hurts in class. What does that do? That makes students not want to go to class. That makes students want to cut. That makes students want to leave. What happens? Crime rate grows up. What happens? Police, people in our school harass students like myself. I am a good student. I don't need to be harassed. You need to take some of those police officers away from the school, the ones who are making our spirits go down, put them somewhere else, put them on the streets with the people who need to be harassed, put more money in our schools so that we can go higher. I'm going to college, and I know people in here are going to college. You guys need to take action. That's what you need to do.
I have no math skills at all, and I'm not ashamed to say it because it's not my fault. I've been in school here all my life.
There's not a lot of things to do after school. There's not a lot of things, let alone what's happening inside their schools and the conditions in the schools and in the community. So when they do come to school, they come into dirty bathrooms, there's no teachers, no textbooks, and there's no outlet for them So when somebody does step on their foot or mug them or lick them, there's only one way to react, which is negatively and violently.
Now, the security cameras are going to catch the action, but they do not catch the root of the problem. The root of the problem was all the anger that the student has built up. A security camera is not going to help stop violence. It's just going to catch the action and punish students more. Going to put them in jail, going to do whatever it's going to do. It's not going to stop the violence. It's actually going to make it increase because students get upset from seeing security cameras and thinking that they're being watched. If you wouldn't want to be watched at your job, so why make us be watched at school? It's not right.
What I see as the main problem with Castlemont is that Castlemont is doing its job. And in doing its job, it's alienating and isolating low-income students of color. It's pretty much effectively squashing their voice. It's about control, not intellectual growth.
So we're working in the context of mass hysteria and the criminalization of not youth in general, but urban youth of color.
It's very much about preparing the students for the role that society expects and needs them to play, which is either at low-level jobs or filling the brand new prisons that everyone's been building. So I don't, I agree with the analysis that part of the problem is that the roots of the violence and the low achievement academically aren't being addressed, but I think those roots stem into systematic oppression of the society, and I think that if those things aren't addressed, that Castlemont's going to continue to do a great job of what it's doing, which is making sure that 60% of its 9th graders drop out before the 10th grade year. And I'm not saying that individuals at this campus aren't genuinely interested in the success and the achievement of students, but this is an institution that's not neutral, and school sites are not neutral. School sites do what they're meant to do, which is maintain the status quo of society. And so until these students who are the most adversely affected by that status quo challenge the system that creates institutions like Castlemont, I'm not sure that too much is going to change.
It was really about a lack of resources that were leading to this anger and frustration and depression, which led to fighting.
The administrators who've been with us all 5 years have really seen the benefits of having you together. That when the race riot will break out, they call on us to handle it because they can't deal with it.
In the last 2 years, since Youth Together has really worked to stop the racial riots, there's only been one racial fight.
My brother and I, we started at the end of this maze, working our way back to our creation. Before the separation, it was the bitter hatred of this matrix that had me fix it. It was like my body was stuck in a glitch, forcing my soul to hitch a ride home every night. I was like a prodigal son, except I didn't run away. I went in my room to write. It was just me and my pen, shacked up for 40 days and 40 nights with 22 words, shining like rays of light, words that only our souls could recite, like I, one with thee, resting on the breath of poetry. We the roots, this the tree, composed of the